Hi, beautiful internet. It's your girl, Unkulunkulugazi Mbusi, back at it again with another video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for sticking around. Today's video, more so advice wise, more so discussion, more so a conversation, We all come from different backgrounds, we all come from different experiences, we all come from different um, moments, perspectives. And I personally would just like to share mine because I don't know, we live in a very fast paced world, and I'd like to believe that amongst my peers, especially the well known social media figures, there are some of us who I know we can relate to one another and we have similar experiences, and I'm here to say it's okay, it's fine. Um, Life is lifing and not everyone goes through the same path. So these are some of the things that I've learned in my 20 years. I'm turning 25 in July. So yeah, in my 20s, which has been the past 4 years until July. So yeah, let's get into that one. Honestly speaking, I never even thought that far until I was able to understand the concepts of living past the age of 18. So I never really saw my 20s outside of what movies would portray them, the partying, the drinking, the connections, interactions, having money. Yo, I thought I would be rich as if right now, I'd have so much cash where I can just do whatever it is that I want to do with no consequences, no liabilities, no problems. I really owned like 5 properties and I could fly wherever I want to fly because I just wanted to eat a peach from Japan and. So a lot of the things that I thought about in my 20s were a fantasy. It was more so a living the nice, beautiful, lavish, rich, upper echelon, 1% lifestyle type of chat, rather than the realism of knowing the grind and hustle of earning that money, so you can do whatever it is you want. One thing I wish other people would have told me about being in your 20s was self learning and self growth is never ending. It shall forever be an ever changing thing. And it's okay. If you were the type of person who loved to lychee juice 5 years ago and you've gotten to the point now where if you were to smell a lychee, then like you're feel like you're gonna puke, that's okay. I feel like it's the same as personalities and growing as people. We change. It's just so much harder for you to want to be intentional in your growth and change. You want to be more so in the presence of being aware of what it is that you want to be rather than being succumb to society's wishes and standards and being told that as a black young woman at the age of 24, this is the way I'm supposed to present myself rather than learning even if I like such things, if I don't like such things, if I want to interact with people, if I don't want to interact with people. It's an ever growing journey of always being present and one with yourself, of knowing who you are. And there will be days where you don't like yourself, but learning how to love yourself in the moments when you feel down is something that I wish someone told me. Um, it's something that will never end in your 20s, because it's something that you grow with from puberty, growing up, but it is an ever changing journey where you will forever find new discoveries about yourself. So I wish someone would have told me that don't be scared to explore what it is that you want and what you don't want, what you like, what you don't like, what you vibe with, what you don't vibe with. Just be an open blank canvas and paint your picture. There's no mistakes. Personally speaking, I do not, because I'd like to believe that I don't like what a lot of people like. In terms of covering my basic needs, I basically feel like I am in the same category with my peers, if that makes sense. But I don't feel like I'm behind in life, because I like to think that we all don't want the same things in life, outside, of course, of the money, a nice house, a nice car. You can understand that, like, even me, personally speaking, I'm at an age right now where if I'm to make grown up money, I want to chow my grown up money. So I'm not looking for things that I'm not even thinking about right now, which is building a family, having kids. Um, That is the only thing I can think of, because that is what I was told growing up was the measuring sticks into what I should aspire in life. But because there's so many other things that I want, there's so many other things that I I seek, there's so many other things I wish to indulge in, that I don't see my end all be all, or my forever goal being having kids and being married. So in that aspect, I don't feel behind. I do feel behind when I compare myself to my elders who have the mansions and the barbaras and them beautiful cars like that. You understand? Like, I do feel like my life is behind, because I also want that. So I feel like I don't it's best to know what you want first. Don't go wanting things because other people want them. You don't know why they want them. I don't want them. For people to say I am fulfilled with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 choice, you were not there behind the scenes as to what they had to go through for them to even accept and be content with their current realities. So don't wish for things you don't understand. That's all I'm saying. I think the best way to answer that one would be, I feel like the best way to answer that is from a lot of other lifestyle, glow up, and self improvement YouTube channels that I used to watch. And one thing that they remain consistent about is building trust with yourself. And I feel as though once you have built such an understanding and trust with yourself, where you know what it is that you want, you know what it is that you need to go for, irregardless of your feelings, irregardless of what other people say, irregardless of what's happening at that moment. The mere fact that you're tunnel vision on such a goal and it is something that you want to achieve, I personally feel like you become more confident when you have that trust in yourself. And for you to be able to build trust in yourself is for you to do the things that you tell yourself that you're going to do. If you told yourself, if you told yourself that you're going to exercise after work, if you told yourself that you're going to exercise after work and you had one of the craziest hectic days where from 7 in the morning until 7 at night, it was just a mess, a chaotic mess where you couldn't even catch your breath. You need, you need to do what you told yourself that you're going to do. Even if you don't end up doing all those super squats, you don't do all those extensive exercises, but the mere fact that you even just showed up, it builds that confidence in yourself. It builds that, oh, dang, I actually want to do this. Oh dang, let me do this and let me see how I feel. Is this even what I want? It's an identity shift where you need to humble yourself to accept your flaws and your mistakes and your challenges in life, for you to be able to say, if these are my weaknesses, this is what I'll do with my strengths, so that I am able to be balanced within myself. So I personally feel like it's kind of hard building confidence in yourself if you keep letting yourself down, especially if that confidence lies in the opinions of others. So it's best to rather just do you, boo. And if doing you ain't hurting nobody, do you. Yo, one thing for sure, I don't have it together. I think one thing that pressurizes me the most is losing everything that I have. And let me explain, right? We live in such a capitalistic society where I have peers that live paycheck to paycheck if they're lucky, and they have the funds and the means to even just cover their basic needs. And then I have peers that still live with their parents, and God bless their souls because they still have somebody that they can depend on. But it becomes frustrating emotionally and psychologically when you have peers that are fulfilling their dreams and they're reaching out for whatever it is that they aspire for, and you are held back because of the circumstances of life. So I don't fear, or I don't even have the pressure of saying, yo, I have this, I have that, I have that. Let me show off to the world the pressure of my life. No, I have the fear of losing it. I have the fear of like, I've never lived under the bridge, but I don't want to live under a bridge. You understand? Like, I've never lived in such a lifestyle where I am in the echelons of society, but at the same time, I've never lived in the greatest demographic in this country where I am so broke, I don't even know where I'm going to look for my next meal. So I think the pressure for me is, especially the way that I work so hard and I hustle the way that I do, it's to survive. It's to reach that stage in life where I don't have to look at my bank account and I can fly somewhere without a regard for if this is dependent on the fact that I will have a roof to sleep over, a roof to sleep under, wow, over, a roof to sleep under the next day or not, if there will be food or not in my fridge, if I will even have clothes. The mere fact I'm even able to just maintain myself and I have the ability to do my hair, my lashes, my nails, buy nice clothes, do makeup, focus on the superficial things that actually do matter, but I don't want to be in a point in my life where I feel as though I don't have control of it. And it's a real fear, but the pressure of wanting to maintain all of that is to honestly be honest and humble with yourself. You don't need to be honest and humble with the people that interact with you in those aspects in life, i.e., your career, your relationships, and your finances. That more so falls with yourself as a person, your habits as a person, and what do your habits dictate as a result for you to end up in a situation that makes you feel as though it is too much pressure. You know, I'm also in a space of my life where I'm just currently starting to build. I'm just starting to acquire things that other adults, especially years ago, if you were to ask them at my age, which they already had, which is a house, a car, they have families, they have all of that. I'm just starting to build up to those big assets, to build up to those big accomplishments. And the last thing I want to do is to regress from the progress that I've already made. So that is mostly my fear, not the pressure behind having all of that. Because, wow. There are days and times when I feel like I'm just doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff, but I try to always catch myself, and I try to always be present, to always be in the moment, to always try to communicate and listen to myself, you know. What is it that I currently need at that point? I'm not big on meditation because I have a very overactive imagination, but I have been trying to center my breathing for me to understand what it is that I want and desire at that point, because life can be so fast paced. Life can be a whirlwind, a whirlwind. Life can be a whirlwind of choices, opportunities, moments, things that need to happen, especially at such a demanding capitalistic consumer based society where everything is just you need to get that, you got to do this. If you were not there, then you were not important, or you're missing out, or it's FOMO, or what. It becomes numbing when you are not here focusing on me and you, or me. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you stare in the mirror and you're like, me, I need this, I got to do that, I got to focus on this, I got to focus on that. It's too much. Sometimes you just need a hug, you know. Sometimes you just need a nap. Sometimes you just need to be left alone for you to not keep going through those motions in life. So I personally feel like it happens when we go through the motions. But the moment you're able to catch yourself and ask yourself, where am I? Listen to your breathing as you try to center your thoughts. And then just try to figure out what it is that you need at that point. You don't need crazy caffeine. You don't need junk food. You don't need all those other things. If you need to relax and breathe, try and breathe under a tree. You know, just go outside, go to some park, or even stop somewhere on the side of the road just for 2 seconds. Bakubheke ngathi uyahlanya shame. It doesn't matter. If you just need that moment to yourself at that point, I suggest you do it, because it is hard for you to be present in life if you're watching life pass you by. And then it becomes a never ending cycle when you put yourself in a place of self-loathing, of reprimanding, of putting yourself down because you were in that state of letting like life move you by, and you were just moving through the motions. So I think it's very important to listen to yourself and listen to what your body needs for you to be present in life, so that you can enjoy the moments a lot better, type of shit, you know. Being independent is the greatest thing I will ever ask for in my entire life. Being able to do whatever it is that I want to do, focus on whatever it is that I want to focus on, accomplish it is whatever I want to accomplish. Even having the ability sometimes just to go back home eat bread, drink tea, go to sleep. Even if you tell yourself, no, man, I don't feel like eating, which is not a good thing, but you're like, I don't feel like eating. And because I ain't got a little human running around wanting my attention, or there's a set of systems that I need to live by so that I can regulate a tiny human, or I need to report to someone who is my husband because he's the type of man. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that it is very nice being independent. The issue becomes when you have to deal with the responsibilities, and you deal with the responsibilities all alone. It's easier when you have a support structure, or you're with your family, and you can see the responsibilities are spread out. But because there is so many responsibilities, and the responsibilities are amongst each other, and we're all holding each other accountable, it is very harder for you to understand and appreciate the freedom that you have at that point, whilst being dependent. Whilst when you're independent, you must feed yourself. You must find a way to feed yourself. You must find the money that will feed you. We understand. If you're lucky, you know how to cook. You're done cooking. You must wash those dishes. You must clean up. Because there will be consequences for things that you don't do. No one wants to live in a pigsty. No one wants to wear dirty clothes. No one wants to look unkept. No one wants to smell funny. And that comes with those responsibilities. If you want to look like a posh, badass bee who is always tuned up, makeup all the way, dressed to impress. Honey, there is things that you must do. You must wash your laundry, brush your teeth, go bath, and that is more so for your personal hygiene responsibility. Go to work if you have a job and there's a form of income that you must live off of. Like, I don't even know how to say it, but being independent is a grace and a blessing above all else, because not everyone is able to be independent. The issue is the responsibilities behind it. I feel like that's where the loneliness comes in. When you're doing so many things alone and you don't know how to enjoy your own company, then it becomes lonely. But like, independence is no joke, because even if you are independent, there must be an understanding of what independence comes with. And it comes with responsibilities, unfortunately. It's just the difference there. There is no one to check you, there's no one to tell you, hey, Nombuso, you know? One thing I will say is, I think it goes back to the other one. Listen to your body. As ambitious as I am also realistic. And I know there's 24 hours in a day and not everything is work. I think people just need to understand that we will forever be known for the things that we've done in our lives. And unfortunately, it has gotten to a point of understanding the accomplishments and the milestones you have reached as a person, rather than who you were as a person. What were your hobbies? What did you sound like when you laughed? What look did you have when you saw something that amazed you? What experiences did you share whilst being yourself? And if we forget a lot of things that make us who we are as humans, and we pass by life, it becomes very hard to seek that ambition. Because one thing I've come to realize is ambition happens as a result of desire, and desire happens as a result of a lack of something. And when people usually end up seeking or desiring or wanting to be ambitious about something, it's more so to fulfill something in their hearts rather than an add-on of who you are. So I personally feel like it would be best to always have an understanding of, why am I ambitious in this career, and what is the cost am I willing to pay for my ambition? because not everything is work. And as much as people like to make it as a very important thing, there's also other aspects to life that are meaningful that you can cherish. And taking the ability and the approach to take a step back from what you're working on, to breathe and actually be in the moments of life, I personally feel like reinvigorates that desire of wanting to be my best, of wanting to achieve greatness out there. Because it makes no sense for me to work so hard and there is no end result to it. There is no end goal as to say, I work so hard because I want money. No, I work hard because I enjoy it and I want to be known as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, but I just feel like there is no ambition without meaning. And if your ambition is the end result of someone else's desire, then there is no point for you to be ambitious. That's just envy now, you know? And envy isn't really a nice color on a lot of us, but what can I say? Yo, funny story. In December 2024, I was working really, really crazy hours, like super crazy hours, where I sometimes wake up at 3 in the morning because I had to make sure that I was by work at before 6 in the morning. But then I also had to pass by the main office and then go to a satellite office in Rosebank. And then after that, we'd start. I'd have to make sure I'm there before 6 in the morning, prepare my clients for what there is that they're going to be doing that day, let them know to please eat because it is hard testing, doing medical surveillance on individuals when they don't eat. Because the last thing you want is for you to fail a test because you are hungry, you know? And then we start testing from 7 until 5. And that's dependent on the number of people that I have that day. So if I have 60, I have to push those people until 5. Then from there, I would do paperwork because I would not want it to incur over to the next day. So I would do all their paperwork so that it would be processed and moved on to my next colleague so that they can finish off the capturing and all of that. But it was crazy. I'd only get back home at like 10 at night, and those were those lucky days, you know. Sometimes I get back at like 9, other times I get back at midnight, and then you'd have to do the whole process over and over again. So imagine doing all of that for 4 weeks straight, and then you kind of have like a holiday. But even in between those holidays, there's itineraries and events that need to be done in between. And then after that, you come back first week of January. After the first, second, the third, you go back to work, and then you open again on the 6th. And then you're back to, yo, did I not collapse? Did I not almost just like fall apart into pieces? And it was a lot. It becomes very much unhealthy, and I feel like I was at a point in that moment where I kept pushing because I told myself I'm a young person, I'm still too young, I can't I burnout doesn't happen to us young people. We have the energy for days. But then I've understood that it becomes very detrimental because I was sick for a while and my immune system wasn't strong. So you become really sick and recovery takes a lot. And my body was sore. Burnout is not nice. I will tell you this for a fact. Burnout is not nice. I understand having to push a goal. I understand having to do something. But when your body wants to sleep, sleep. If you need to rest, rest. If the world is not burning, no one needs you to do something at that very moment. No one is going to die. Take care of yourself. Anything can be done the next day. Even if tomorrow is not guaranteed, we have a calendar. I'm sure it will be there. Like you need to take care of yourself. Like you need to eat, you need to rest, you need to look away from the computer every once in a while. Take a walk, stretch out your arms. Take care of yourself. As a person, you really honestly need to listen to your body. And I will keep standing, I will be attest to that because I'm not the type of person to get sick. But when I do get sick, I know it's not only external factors. It's also the way that I take care of myself. It's also the way I've been sleeping, what I've been eating, have I been dressing warm? What type of weather have I been in? What have I been doing? You understand? So you don't want to have burnouts to the point where it becomes chronic and now you need to drink pills because your body is always in fatigue or survival mode. So rest. This is where hobbies come in. This is where emotional regulation comes in. This is where you open yourself to other avenues of figuring out who you are as a person. What do you like? When you see people that are running and they're swimming and they're playing tennis, that is like a really healthy way to create endorphins in your body. Because always being in a stressful manner, especially if you work in 8 to 5, a 9 to 5, you work those really long, stressful hours where you must keep hearing Sabrina talk about her problems, or you can't even have a proper break. You must eat at your desk because you have such a pile of work. It is always best to listen to your body. If it means that you must be selfish because it means you might be bedridden because of work, nah. Be selfish. I give you permission. Be selfish. Funny story. I don't know if you guys watched my first video. I think I remember explaining in that video that the kind of job that I'm in is not what I studied for. I studied Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. We smart like that. Yeah, it was an okay course. Now that I think about it, I personally feel like it's not something that I wanted to do. I was just really much so like intrigued and interested in computers, studying, coding, how to do web design, IE design, all of that stuff. So I was interested, but I wouldn't say it was something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Things happened. I failed some modules. I had to move back home. And my mother was like, no ways, I'm not about to stay with a grown adult whilst you have to wait for 8 months before going back to school. So I had to find a job. I looked everywhere. I applied. I was called in for an interview and I came in for an interview. I started out as a data capturer because that was the position that was open. Started capturing data for occupational health clients and files. Then I moved to reporting, and then I moved to IT because I was still studying computer science at that point. So now I was housing the IT department. And if you guys know the difference between IT and computer science, computer science is more so it's more so software generic, if I am to be honest. IT focused more so on hardware, but then there's a intertanglement between the two. But I didn't like that at all. Oh my gosh, I didn't like that. And then like I had to deal with the marketing. I didn't like that part as well. I don't know, there was so much that I didn't like. But what I did like is what I was learning in terms of occupational health, what it means to do a medical surveillance, why it is essential for a lot of employees to be told about their health and work, like their health and wellness, their work life balance, the the impacts of having stressful situations in your personal life impact your work and vice versa. Um, what it is as a person you do day in, day out, that you tell yourself, I am the exception to the rule, that actually impacts you, and you need the assistance for it, especially when it comes to chronic management. I'm in a country, like, I live in South Africa, and my my demographic of people are more so poor. I think it's 60%. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's 60% of the population that's not really that much educated. I think it's better now, with some of my older peers. I think the millennials, myself, Gen Alpha. Um, but like it fed into wanting to understand how life and work forms into one, and how to mesh the two into one. Even if you end up working in a hard labor environment like construction, mining, and all those things, what are the preventative measures for you to not to be exploited at work and still live a fulfilled, enriching life? Because there is no way you can tell every single person to quit their job and look for another job. It will forever be a means to an end. It's a means for their survival. So, what is the best way for people to be equipped with the knowledge and knowing how best to take care of themselves? Because as much as this job is your livelihood, they can replace you, and if they can replace you here, what's the point of you working for a company where you end up being battered and bruised and broken down, only to be treated as nothing, you know I don't know. I fell in love with just wanting to assist people in understanding that there will forever be a job in life, but there is only one you. There is only one body, one mind, one soul, one heart. And as much as, we have the means to do heart transplants, it's very it's very redundant of us to keep working people into the ground, but not giving them the means and the ability to take care of themselves, Because it is even things that happen in personal life that become so much that it impacts your livelihood. Like I said, it ends up impacting your pocket, it impacts your salary, and now you have bosses that want to fire you because they don't understand, nor are they sympathetic or empathetic to the fact that maybe, let's just say, you lost a family member, and that family member was a pillar of your family, and without them a lot has changed, and you don't have the tools to deal with your grieving and counseling, but you told yourself you must go to work, and like, I don't know, I just feel like it's gotten to a point where I don't care about my computer science degree. I know it is a very helpful tool. It is something that even till today I still keep up with the trends and the ins and outs of my degree, because I am an inquisitive person like that. But I've pivoted to wanting to learn more, to grow more so in the aspects of corporate business, whilst also focusing on occupational health, employee assistance programs, injury on duties, health and wellness, seminars, discussions on why it is important for you to be um, up to date with your chronic medication, for example, why it is important for you to seek mental counseling if you feel as though you are unstable mentally. It's more so to destroy the stigma of taking care of yourself, because, like I said, my demographic, my color. We grew up being told you're strong, you're what, you are who you are. You don't need that shit. You ain't crazy, But and it's tools. It's things that we can use to benefit our lives. So, like, why not use them type of chat? Yeah, I've never really questioned it in that sense, but it's nice to have stumbled upon it that way. Everything happens for a reason, you know. Yo, okay. One thing I think I will stand on and I will attest to is do you? I'd like to believe I'm not a very judgmental person. I will be very vocal. I will be very emotional. I will stand on business and I will talk. However, the same platform that I'd like to believe that my friends present to me is the same platform I'd like to present to my friends. However, I've been having a bit of a heartbreak lately when it comes to my friends and the ex-friends, ex-acquaintances, people that I used to know. Um, it's hard when you're growing and you want to enrich yourself, you want to expand yourself, you want to grow, you want to live a life that is just filled with understanding, that is filled with love, that is filled with enjoyment, five moments, like the movies. I don't know. But it's hard now when you keep pouring and you keep pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring. And you start questioning your position in that friendship. You start questioning what it is that you do. You question your relatability, your usefulness. You end up doing so much to the point where I've had so many friendships where I've given so much, irregardless of the fact of what type of people they were, what the hell that they did. Honestly, I could care less. I will tell you as a type of friend where I don't like something, but I will never turn my back against you. I will tell you not to involve me, but I'll never shut the door in your face. I like to think that as people we grow, we change. We all have different things, different preferences, different likes. But I've also had to learn recently that we all don't come from the same backgrounds. We all don't have the same understanding, the same perspective. We're all different as people. And it sucks. It sucks when you lose friendships that you thought would be the type of people where they would bury you or you would bury them, or sometimes it hurts more than having a romantic partner. Actually, it does. But I've learned to stay true to myself, even when people would used to hurt me, and I will never get the closure from them anymore. I I cement myself in knowing that I will forever wish them the best. Two things can be true at once. They have hurt my heart, but I don't wish them ill will. And I just move on with my life, honestly speaking. If it was one of those big fallouts where it was just a screaming match between us and stuff like that, I'll say my piece. I'll say what I need to say and move on. If there is somewhere where we can fix something, I don't think in my heart I will be okay unless we address certain things, But if it's we drift apart, we're not talking to each other anymore, we're not conversing, you know, we are always in each other's spaces, but we are not speaking. I will leave you alone. I will give you your space. I will not want to be in your vicinity like that. No, because like I said, if you give me the platform to express who I am within your vicinity, I will give you one as well. If you take that platform away from me, I will step back. I don't want to be on a friendship basis where you must do something for me because I did something for you. Please keep your friendship at that point. I don't want to be the type of friend where I am the friend where I am boasting to the world that this is my friend, and then I want you to do the same thing, but you're not the type of person. I will not do that. You can't do that. Like uzoba umuntu onjani mawubhizi uhamba uxhogana nabantu ukuthi bakamukele as umngani, but then why wena yourself awumboni lo muntu ezumngani. Like it's something that I will never ever understand and comprehend. But at the same time, I can also be understanding where I don't need to interact with you. I don't need to always be in your space, in your vicinity, because then you just hurt my feelings. And the last thing I want to do is for you to take me out of my character because you hurt my feelings. We're not about to do that. One thing I've learned, especially being a workaholic, you put in effort into a lot of things, even friendship. You put in the effort. And if the effort is not met like that, because miscommunication can be recommunicated, that's the difference. But if there is no understanding amongst each other and we don't know why we're still doing things together, call it quits. I don't want people to be miserable because they're my friend. I don't want to go to bed at night crying because of a friend, you know? So I personally feel like if you can find the understanding and strength for you to move on from a friendship that is no longer serving you with love and grace, do it with class. If it is possible for you to tell that person, I don't want to be your friend anymore, and you explain why, and they can't convince you to stay as friends, you can walk away. If it's gonna be a shouting match where, hey, you it's fine. Honest truth, your honesty, speak your heart, and then call it quits. Leave it be. But dragging each other through social media, and then you want to now tell me stories via my Instagram stories, and then you want to shadow tag me and use emojis to communicate. Yeah, one that's what I'm not going to do. We're not about to do that. This thing of a tactful back and forth, no, my love, with grace. Walk away. If the person can't deal with you face 99, walk away. Because the person was like, what? I want you to be my friend. Face 99. And yeah, no. So we're not about to do this thing where we're playing in the shadows and no. Let's move on, please. Hi guys, as a workaholic, so many people are looking for me, and I'm in the office right now. I just kind of hit myself. I'm not gonna say where I am in the video because then the next time I want to record again, they will come and find me. So it's fine. I will go right now. I hope I spoke all that I needed to. I think I'll just end the video there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Those are the lessons and life experiences that I've learned in my 20s. I'm 24 now. We are embarking on a new journey. We are going to be doing so much. We are already doing so much. So I don't know. I want to be able to look back into a lot of things and not just rely on my memory alone. So, hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. If you guys have any comments, anything that you guys want me to talk about, please comment down below.